Hello and welcome to this episode of Up Your Vibe, and I'm Paula-Kalik. And today I wanted to talk about the connections that we have with each other. And as there are near on 8 billion people on the earth right now, which is more than has ever passed away since the beginning of history, I think it's a very, very amazing time to be connected. And research suggests that we share 99% of our DNA. So only 1% of our DNA makes us unique, and 99% of our DNA makes us connected. And this is what my special guest today, Robbie Lee Burda, is going to be talking about. So hello, Robbie, how are you today?
Well, I'm amazing, just like you are, Paula.
Thank you, and thank you for coming on the show. So you have a great passion, and the reasons for this I'd like you to explain to yourself, and it goes right back to your past. That's if you're comfortable with talking about it.
Right. For a long time, in my life, and like so many other people's lives too, I think it all starts at a very young age, and a lot of things, that happen during our formation years. And it doesn't take long. We get told how, we're supposed to act this way, or we're supposed to do things this way, or we're supposed to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And some things it's good that happens. I mean, we have to have some order. We don't want just complete chaos. But being that we are all individualized creations of infinite abundance and joy, peace, harmony, and love, it kind of goes against the grain too and causes resistance because it doesn't allow that pure imaginative creativity to completely flow through. So that starts the resistance inside. And from that, I know myself, I felt very, very disconnected for a long time. I had to become a very stubborn survival rebel just in order to survive. And and I know it's more than just partly for me, of course, was the male thing. For a man to ask for help, well, that would obviously be a sign of weakness, right?
Yes, that's what.
Right? Man's supposed to be the lone wolf, the hunter, the provider, right? And there's these lies that we become hypnotized to believe that aren't true. It's more, I think, just that, I heard a statistic once, and I don't remember, but it's hundreds of thousands of times, I'm sure. Like by the time that we're, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, we've been told no so many times that we start to believe.
Yes.
Right?
And you talk about your past, Robbie Lee, and you said you had enormous obstacles to overcome, trauma and pain, but you chose not to stay broken.
Absolutely. I mean, for a long time being stubborn, in order to survive, ingrained inside of me a pattern that didn't serve me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
My life, when I was younger, I did go through a lot of physical abuse, sexual abuse, and mental abuse, every kind of abuse you could imagine. And I used to cry out to God, and I would ask him, what was it that I had done that I deserved to have so much pain in my life? And it took so many years for me to realize that it wasn't what I had done wrong, but what I had done right. And my life has been preparing me, and it's preparing all of us every moment, every day, every experience that we go through is preparing us for what for what we were meant to be and designed and created to be and do. And I truly believe that. I have so many experiences that I can relate with other people. And I know this because I've talked to hundreds of people, and I'm a master professional trailblazer, coach and guide. And I hear the stories. And the only, we've all had hard times, but we need to bury the past and learn from those blessings. There's hidden blessings, even in adversity. I didn't see that for a long time. I was stuck in that victim phase, that stage of victim mentality. And I am, and we all are and can be the hero that overcomes.
I used to know that place as well. And I have a saying where, and I think it does apply to all of us, that adversity is your greatness.
Absolutely. And, if every day was just nothing but rainbows and sunshine and flowers and everything, how would we know when we had a beautiful, gorgeous day that was?
Exactly.
Right? And that's wherein lies having the clarity through the contrast in our lives.
You have to know happiness in order to know what sadness is.
Exactly.
So we have to experience both ends of the spectrum and then come somewhere in the middle and, stay in the middle path, not letting one or the other side of it dictate. And it's like riding a wave, isn't it? We go up and down and we settle somewhere in the middle, but we still may go up and we still may go down at times.
But there is a natural flow, and we see it so much in the order of nature.
Yes.
And I think that humankind, to a large extent, we've gotten away from our Mother Earth. Many of us live in cities of concrete and steel. The box thing where we live in a box. We get in a box, we drive to an office building, a box, get in our box, work all day, work on a computer or box, eat our lunch out of a box, get in our box, go home, drive home, get in our in our family room, right? Another box, watch a box television.
We're very much boxed in, aren't we?
In.
Yes.
And we're not free to express what's really been naturally inside of us. We were born with so many gifts inside.
We were. I take whatever opportunity I can to kick off my shoes, either walk on the grass or walk in the sand, and really connect with Mother Earth and feel her vibrational energy coming through me and energizing me. It's the most wonderful feeling you can ever have.
Absolutely. And maybe you do live in a city, but if you can get out and take a walk in the park.
Yeah. Kick your shoes off.
Or look out I love feeding the birds, and we go through over 1,000 pounds of bird seed here where I live a year. We love the birds.
Yeah.
And pets. Pets have a lot. Animals, just the way they act. You want to talk about unconditional love? Watch your pet.
Yes.
They're one of the best examples, and maybe, I think it was for me,
absolutely,
maybe one of the first times I ever experienced that.
I completely agree with you. Even though I've had children, I still believe that my pet gives me or gave me unconditional love that I had never felt before in my life. Not from my parents, not from my children. And that makes me kind of sad. It does, it really does. Because we should all be connected enough to give each other unconditional love. And I know you think that is really important because you say everyone and everything is connected.
Absolutely, like ripples on a pond.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're finding out now, a lot during the chemical revolution, which I think kind of really kicked off big time around the World War II era. And
Yeah.
now it's like, so many years later, it's like we're almost 80 years later, and they're finding out what these chemicals are actually doing. And we are aware and we have the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But why do we keep using them? We didn't know then. It's one thing not to know. And I live right outside of Chicago, where part of the atom bomb was developed out here, out in the forest preserve. And there's a monument. And they built this huge concrete tomb. I guess it's about 80 foot wide. It's circular.
Yes.
And it has 14-foot thick walls, or maybe it's 20-foot thick walls and a 14-foot lid on it. It had no bottom to it. And they dumped all this radioactive material in there. And lo and behold, about 20 years ago, it started showing up in everybody's wells in these beautiful mansions built in the mountains. And these people, water is going to be contaminated for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. We have that knowledge now to make a difference.
We do.
Connectivity is so crucial.
So when you talk about connection, what do you mean by connection? Connected? What is it? In what sense?
Well, beyond, it's so important to have a spiritual connection within you and with other people, with our planet, and with our source, our infinite creator, God, goddess, I am, whatever you're comfortable with calling it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always knew when I looked into the skies and I saw the stars, I knew there was something so much greater than I. And it's connecting to that source within you, that infinite power, that truth. And we all have it. It's in our divinity. It's always been there. It was born with it.
And how would someone do that, Robbie?
Pardon?
How would someone do that? How would someone get that connection?
The main thing that made the biggest difference for me was to quiet the noise and start living consciously.
And what do you mean by living consciously?
Being aware of how you feel, your emotions. For so long, I would look around and nobody in my life these answers found. I thought there was something wrong with me. I'm too emotional, right? Men aren't supposed to act this way, obviously. But it was a lie. Paying attention to how we really feel inside and knowing what we want. That's important. When we have knowing what you want and really knowing the why is crucial. Having that why really gives you the creative vision that you can create. So then you know how you want to really feel. There's no good or bad emotions. A lot of us were told, don't feel that way, that's a bad emotion. You're angry at somebody, or you're feeling depressed, or one of the lower vibrational emotions. Well, that's bad. You should be happy, be joyful. That's not true. Our emotions were given to us as our spiritual guidepost. When we are conscious of how we feel, we have the ability to change how we feel by changing what we're thinking about. The human species is the only species that I know that have this gift.
Yes. So when you talk about you have to have your why, You're talking about the why that helps you get in alignment with what you're passionate about, the why that makes you get up in the morning, the why that keeps you motivated. Could you add some more to that?
Well, the why, why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why am I here now? What's my purpose? I don't think it was to, go to more, to more schools and get more degrees and have more degrees on the wall and earn more money and get deeper in debt and get more stuff, because after you're gone, all the stuff doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't about working more overtime. And the biggest regret that I have heard, and I've actually heard people tell me this, was when they knew it was time for them to go. They were maybe in their 90s or whatever. Their regret was they didn't just go for what made them passionate. What really felt passionate about doing, whether it was creative expression through art, music, writing, sharing truth with others.
Mm-hmm.
They regretted that they didn't just go for it. And some of the people were quite wealthy. They
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
things that, hard for me to even conceive having. It's like some people are so wealthy and have so much things that, and other than you look at other people that have barely anything.
Yeah.
And they're so grateful for what they do have. If we can live in a place of gratitude, it's the most important thing in our lives. It's not to look at what we don't have, but appreciate what we do. Key important, really having a vision for your life. Vision is an ultimate key. People don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mentioned it before, how so many people's large screen TVs are larger than the vision of life, right? What kind of sense does this make? It's like we have goals when we're younger to finish grade school, high school, maybe college, get a good job as a dentist or whatever it is, and then it stops there. We get busy. We get busy with raising children, our jobs, the economy. We get trapped in all these things that don't really matter. See, we weren't born for regrets, but our species was born to be resilient.
Yes.
Think about that. Thousands of years ago, back to the flight or fear. We were living in little tribes or maybe caves or whatever. There was a real reason to be afraid. If you wandered out of your territory into another valley or mountain, a saber-toothed tiger might eat you up, or take you away in the middle of the night. But these, back to that fear or flight, that was ingrained in us. It gets ingrained in us in a young age too, a lot of times. But as we get older, when we just become complacent, it doesn't serve us anymore.
So what do you think's gone wrong in society? I know that you believe that humankind are more aware than ever before, but yet we have the increase in teenage suicide in the UK, the increase in male suicide, and the increase in female suicide. More people than ever are taking their lives and are incredibly unhappy. So what's gone wrong with our connections?
I think it's a generational pattern in part. Is we look at all the basic religions and where they got their start, and they all pretty much say the same thing. You shouldn't kill each other, you shouldn't steal from each other, you shouldn't sleep with your neighbor's wife even if you want to. And there's the basic rules in there. But because fear and greed, and perpetualized a pattern, a generational pattern in people.
Mhm.
And we live in a world that's so abundant. It's a proven fact that if we took all of the trillions and trillions of dollars that are being spent on warfare, and we didn't spend it on warfare anymore, there would absolutely not be a starving person upon our planet. Everybody would have free medical, free education, and free infrastructure, bridges, highways, trains, modes of transportation. Think about that. Education,
Yes.
medical, health, everything. But we spend all this money, and the control has been so long in people who got into positions of power, whether it was man taking a good thing, a basic religion, and creating it into a man-made religion, not connected to the truth from where it came from, and controlling people with fear and greed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a generational pattern. We're seeing it now, and a lot of it, I think, has to do with technology. The world got so much smaller, right?
Mm-hmm.
With technology, we're finding out that people around the planet, they have the same emotions, the same feelings as you and I, you know. And it's amazing. I think it was I'm not real good with statistics, but it really wasn't that long ago. Maybe in the 80s, where they said it took like 12 some points of contact in order to reach anybody on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Today, it only takes a little bit over 2 points of contact, and you can reach anyone in the planet.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? And with technology, of course, it was designed to make us more connected. But I see it that actually it's making us disconnected, because where we would go and visit people, and we didn't have to make an appointment in those days, we give them a telephone call, or we send them a text, or we message them on Facebook. And what I've also found is that important news is shared on Facebook before you tell the important people in your life. And I see this as a disconnection.
I mean, there is, again, you know, there's the clarity and contrast in everything.
Yes.
But what's important is that we stay focused consciously on the good things. Except there's contrast. You can, you know, in our lives in everything, but there's also clarity too.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you. You know, a lot of people have gotten to where, and I think we as humankind, we need social interaction that's not two-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
You know, texting. You know, I can text you a message, but if you don't have the emotion or the feeling behind that sentence of what I texted you, it could be taken several different ways.
Of course.
Right? You ever text somebody and 3 hours later you're still texting each other?
Yeah, absolutely.
What you meant were a 5-minute phone call, and it would have been done and over with, and you'd have moved on. That's a lot of wasted energy.
It is. And have you text anybody the wrong message to the wrong person? Oh my goodness, what trouble can that cause?
I've done that too.
So why do you believe then that we are more aware than ever before as human beings?
Well, I believe there's a reason why we chose to be here now.
Of course.
You know, I feel it deep inside me. You know, it's alive in me. There's a reason why we are here now. And I truly believe one of the main reasons is we have known these simple truths about life for thousands and thousands of years and ignored them. And the time has come we don't make the changes needed now, the human species will no longer survive.
Yeah, we are living in uncertain times right now, and people are more used to comparing themselves to other people and being jealous if somebody else has got more than them. I don't know how to heal this myself because it seems second nature now. Violence just, it doesn't seem to invoke any emotions. It's just accepted that there's going to be this terrible violence in the world. And when you talked about war, actually today there is less war than there ever has been. And people can't understand that because it's always in your face. And that's the control and that's the fear that keeps us under control. But actually, we are in the most peaceful time that we can ever be in right now.
And the people that have, a lot of the people, not all of them, but a lot of people who have control of the wealth, they're greedy.
That's right.
You know, if they can show you what they want you to see and give you propaganda about war and keep people living in fear, where they believe, well, I better have the strongest army or somebody else is going to attack me. So they don't want to let go of that wealth when there's so much to go around.
Which is an absolute.
A lot of people feel kind of hopeless. You know, they feel like, well, if I vote, it doesn't make a difference anyway. It's all rigged, right? A lot of people have that feeling.
But it is an illusion because we are in the most peaceful times that we've ever seen. We have more than we've ever had before.
Absolutely. When you think about it, when you think about what we have, you know, when you get up in your house and you have, if we can see each other right now with this technology, with the computer and the electricity that provided that.
I know, it's amazing.
Great practice is a rampage of appreciation. If you think about where our food comes from, how our homes were built, transportation and everything, it would have taken an army of servants to give us what we take for granted now.
We are absolutely living in the most amazing times right now. And I am so happy that I chose this time to visit the earth and experience what I'm experiencing now. I'm not saying that, you know, my life is full of happiness all the times. I have my ups and downs like everybody else. And it took me a long time because, like you, I have a very torrid background. But I am absolutely sure that that wasn't by mistake and that I have grown and learned from every experience. And I am me. I am fortunate to be. I'm grateful to be me. I'm grateful to have met you and experienced all the things I've experienced on earth so far.
And united, we can rise and make the changes needed now.
But it's not always about looking outside of yourself for these changes. It's about looking inside yourself. Yes, the propaganda war machine is always going to be going. The money and the fear from the elites that own all the money is always going to be there. It's about stepping outside of that and concentrating on what you've got inside of you and your connections, because your connections determine the quality of your life.
Absolutely. We've always been surrounded by so many positive, invisible forces that were waiting to us.
Yeah, you wouldn't be you right now had you not had your adversity. I wouldn't be me. It is us. It's part of us. And we had to experience that to be who we are today. And I know your TRAILBLAZER awakening system is doing phenomenally well. And you help so many people.
It amazes me. It really does. I mean, so many people, they're aware of an emerging voice within them, but they've never taken the time to really go within and find out what it's really trying to tell them. what is it really trying to tell them?
And you have
Every life has an amazing adventure in store, and we can unlock it if we're willing to consistently take committed action.
mm-hmm. And this is what you talk about when you say that everybody can do something about their situation right now, today, right this second. They can do something about their situation to improve their life, no matter where they are in life.
It's like there's a trailblazer inside of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's even if it, and there's no higher rate or anything. It could be your children and raising your children. It could be as simple as getting involved in the community and something you love to do. But
Yeah.
we can be there. I believe that we are children of God, and we were created to look out for one another. And just by sharing life, love, and life, we are raising the universal or planetary consciousness on the planet. And it needs to happen now. And it is happening now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch the regular news. I found different channels and things that talk about good things going on in the world. But that doesn't sell bullets and guns and missiles.
And that's one that you've mentioned something that's really important, and that is to disconnect with that media, switch it off. I would even say get rid of your TV. I've not had a TV for many years now, and it was one of the best things I ever did, was to get rid of that commercial box, that box that raises the fear inside of you. Get rid of it, switch it off.
And it makes you unconscious too.
Yes.
You have all this chatter, all this noise going on all the time. It doesn't give you a chance to really connect to your source.
There is one thing, and I'm going to really wind a lot of people up when I say this, but when you're watching a soap, notice how many seconds between the change in set. And if you count to 3, you'll notice that the set changes, because that's the optimum amount of seconds that you can focus and keep attention. So when you're watching a soap or a drama, count the seconds and see how many times that set changes.
Right. Yeah,
exactly. And notice as well, when the adverts come on the television, it may be you've got a bit bored watching something and you're just drifting off, and then all of a sudden an advert will be coming on, and it's so much louder that it wakes you up just so you're not going to miss the advert. These are things to be aware of if you do elect to watch the television. It is a commercial box. It is a box of propaganda. So switch off. Get rid of the TV.
Would you take an infant that you loved and you cared for, and you were raising and watching it grow into a loving being, and would you put that infant in a room and walk over to the stereo and find some really loud head banging rock and roll music and crank it all the way up? What would the baby start doing? The baby starts screaming and crying, right? We have to take care of the child within all of us.
Yes, we do. We do. And I saw an experiment once where there was 2 tanks with soil. They were watered exactly the same time, exactly the same seeds. And the only difference was, in one tank, it was headbanging rock music that was put into the tank. And in the other tank, it was classical music. What do you think the effect was on those plants?
Well, I know what the effect was without seeing it.
Go on, tell everyone, what was the effect?
Yeah. And it's a, and not, if you like headbanging rock music, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. to a point. Or anything in excess
Yep.
is too much.
But
Some
all,
things nurture growth, some things don't. Obviously, the one that had the classical music or the peaceful music or things that were more in alignment with natural vibrations, again, natural vibration, the notes
yes.
came from the universe. Where did sound come from?
And those plants thrived in that tank, but in the other tank with the rock music, the heavy rock music, the headbanging music, those plants actually withered.
I believe it.
Mm.
So again, back to what you said, where everybody's texting all the time and
Mhm.
nobody talks. They don't have that social communication with humankind, right? They're all texting. I think that's a large problem. You know, there's a good side and a bad side to technology. So that's the downside. And the
Yeah,
good side is that we're all becoming aware that we have a good feeling.
we are. We are to some extent, but community still doesn't form fast enough. Community has been discommunicated. You know, all the local bars are closing down where people would congregate and talk, and that's equivalent to the caveman with the fire. Sitting around it, you know, people used to go into bars and chat together, talk about the problems. That's gone now. You know, people don't talk over dinner anymore. They get a quick microwave meal during lunchtime, and families don't sit together as families anymore. Or not all families. Some families still do sit together, but more often than not, people aren't even in the same room or house together at dinner time. You know, mum's at work or dad's at work. It is becoming very difficult to keep that communication together in a family unit and in a community. How can we change that, Robbie?
Greed has a lot to do with it. You know, back our grandparents or my grandparents anyway, it was still pretty much a society where the mother would stay at home and help educate and raise the children and have that nurturing start. And then during my generation or my parents, you know, both worked so they could have more stuff,
Yes.
right? And I think that greed does have a lot to do with it. We became disconnected by getting more material things, you know, or thinking that that was what keeping up with the Joneses or whatever was life about. And it's not really what life is about. I mean, it's nice to have nice things, don't get me wrong. But when it starts to hurt those in your family, the ones closest to you, is it worth it?
So, Robbie, I think in terms of that last question, we still have a long way to go in order to rebalance community, to rebalance families, to rebalance the finances on the earth so that the few don't own all the wealth or the majority of the wealth. But what can people do today to channel for more for themselves?
Well, what helped me a lot to help organize my life was, you know, and of course, vision. Actually having a vision for your life where you know what you'll be doing, how you'll be living, and what you'll be giving, but make a plan. Because a plan without a vision is a fantasy. But a plan that's not put on your calendar can forever remain a mystery.
Yeah.
And take consistent, committed action, even if it's a little bit of time each day. That here's where I'm at, here's where I want to go, here's my plan, it's on my calendar, and no matter what, I'm going to follow through. Consistent, committed action toward a purpose in people's lives makes a difference.
Yes. So would you suggest doing something like a vision board?
Vision boards are great. You know, I use vision statement. And a lot of people say, well, I don't know what my purpose is in life.
Yes.
Well, have you ever written it down? You know,
I've done several vision boards, but what I find is that, you know, on your vision board, you might put this fabulous house, new car, holiday, and that
mm-hmm.
really isn't in alignment with you.
Well,
You know, it's okay saying I want to be living in abundance, but I'm doing a job for 70 hours a week. The two don't meet.
so if you write down what you'll be doing, who you will be being, who you will be being, what you will be doing, how you will be living.
Yes.
A lot of people haven't taken the time to write it down, and they're worried about, and they never get around to writing it down. And you don't need to get it right, you just need to get it written.
Yeah.
Because a vision statement, I have found that I have changed and tweaked mine many times because it evolves just like me. And a practice that I use is every morning I read mine.
Yeah.
I feel into it. What will I be doing? Who will I be being? And how will I be living? And I visualize it. I take the time to visualize it. And this practice takes me 5-10 minutes in the morning. And people say, well, I don't have time to plan. You're probably the person that's the silliest thing I ever heard. I don't have time to plan.
Yeah.
You're probably the one that needs to plan the most, right? You're running around like a chicken with your head cut off and wonder why. Well, I don't have time to plan.
It often doesn't happen like that for me, though. I do plan, but I could just be thinking of something. Like when I was training on a cross trainer, and I used the same track all the time, which is the track that goes through Yosemite. And I used to pretend that my dogs were with me. In fact, I could see orbs on the screen, so I knew that my dogs were with me. And I always used to go back to that same track, and I used to say to myself, I am really going to go to Yosemite one day. I am really going to go to Yosemite one day. And where am I going in April? Yosemite. And it came quite by surprise, because that was a change in location on a retreat that I'm going to. We were supposed to go to another location, and then just by chance that was cancelled. And the person arranging the retreat says, I hope you don't mind, Paula, but we're going to go to Yosemite instead. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that's what I wanted to do. So it really is a lot about your language, and putting the I before it seems to really, really work.
Sometimes I believe that it's not so much what we see with our physical eyes, but what we see with the inner eye.
Yes.
I mean, there's been so much evidence of it. I mean, we have case upon case of people who were like in plane accidents and broke their back 7 times and were told they were never going to walk again.
Mm-hmm.
And they made up their mind and they visualized it. This is a process that some of the top athletes, business people do. They visualize it.
Yes.
They make it real. Visualization.
Yeah, I think that particular experience for me was so poignant because I was going to be back with my dogs again. So to me, going to Yosemite is my connection to my dogs. Even though they're not here anymore, I connected with them on that track in the form of orb. So to me, their spirit is there. So I'm going to connect with them in that place.
That's beautiful.
Mm.
And you are.
Sorry?
And you are.
Yeah, I am. That's absolutely true. I am. And I'm doing things now in my life because I've let go of all of that crap. My life is changing so much and so rapidly. And the years are just falling away from me because I've let go of the most of it. There is always something that you'll find you'll need to let go of. But the impact on you personally is that, the amount of stress that you're using by keeping hold of your story makes you old, makes you angry, makes you jealous. So yeah, once you've let go of them, a new you is revealed. This more youthful you comes forward. And I love being where I am now. I still would like my own home, but for now I'm happy where I am, and I will work on getting my own home when the time is right.
And it's that consistency. A lot of people, they get really motivated, and they'll work at something real hard for a short while, and then they get discouraged and they give up. But that's when you really need to dig in and say, okay, I know this is a threshold. And it's been proven in my own life so many times. It's a little rough going right now, but most things that are worthwhile, take work. They're worth working for.
And persistence.
Right? And commitment to consistency.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be, a large amount of time. A lot of people use meditation as medication, and they meditate 6-7 hours a day. You can use inspiration as medication too, and you can watch YouTube and be inspired 6-7 hours a day. And wonder, I've fallen into these traps, and it amuses me now, but I was wondering, like, what's going on? How come I'm not getting anything done, right? But consistent, I mean, we have 1,440 minutes in every 24-hour day. And I know that I'm worth a few to consistently take a few to connect to my divinity this way.
Exactly. You have to avoid procrastination, because many of the things that we do every day is procrastination, and it gets in the way of what we really want, what we desire. Why do it?
And just taking time and sitting down and like, okay, what am I doing every day? And actually writing down, I'm doing this many hours each day, added up, that's how many hours. Where can I, this doesn't really serve me anymore. Why am I spending so much time doing that? I could do more of it. And taking the time to think it out consciously.
Yes, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't relax, because of course you should relax. Because
we're ready to have fun.
Yeah, relaxing is being creative. That's when most of your aha moments do arrive, when you're relaxing, because it's your creative state. So don't think you have to keep doing it all the time. You still need to take that time out to relax, to enjoy life.
Absolutely.
So I want to ask you, Robbie, because you have a really, really great quote. Can you remember? Live authentically, love unconditionally, follow your destiny, and always stay inspired.
Absolutely. In fact, that was from one of my favorite mentors. That wasn't just me. That was, but it just was so powerful.
It is so powerful.
Living authentically.
Yes.
Right? And not lying to others or lying to ourselves. What is procrastination? Well, I'm going to do something, and then we put it off when we don't do it. So we tear down our self-confidence. But when we do it, it builds up our self-confidence.
Exactly. And I know that you have a great love of poetry as well, and that you have a poem that you'd like to share with us today.
Yeah, I do. I've never read anything on video before, but I have. This is a piece that I wrote. It was a while back. I don't remember exactly when, but I'd love to share this with you.
Please do.
Okay. And it's kind of around the nature theme. It's called Naturally Connected.
Which is very apt for this show.
I see the stars, gazing in awesome wonder. I see the clouds within the mountains, and I feel the earth and hear the awesome thunder. So connected in nature, so am I, as I watched winged creations fly, shining so deeply within my soul. I know I too have a destiny to light it up and let it flow. A passion deep within my heart that every day is a brand new start. Feelings of undeniable love abound, anchoring within my spirit now that I am truly found. My heart calls to me to share so much forevermore now that I truly, sincerely care. Light it up, love unconditionally with never-ending love I now dare. And I know I'm a force that will not be denied until my loving soul is satisfied. So many things I still have to endeavor and learn, but my nature supremely rules, and only sharing love and light is my main concern. How do I more let my eternal light shine to share this blessed truth divine? I shall not falter or be afraid, and thus hinder predetermined plans already made. And all I have to do is follow through. Simple blessed connection in everyone and me and you. With sincere focused vision, we can conquer all. Nothing is too big, but not neglecting even the small. Within the universe, we will make our place to ensure the survival of our human race. United, I know we will survive. With love and light and life much more, we will truly rise.
That was beautiful. Thank you. That was really lovely. Gosh, I don't know how I can follow that now, Robbie.
Thank you for letting me share.
That is really wonderful. I hope that the audience are really inspired by your poem. And I could really feel that that came right from your heart. So I want to thank you for being the guest today on Up Your Vibe. It's been a wonderful show, and I'm just so glad to call you my friend, Robbie.
Thank you. I am so grateful to have made this divine connection with you.
Thank you. So may I wish you the rest of the day, have a wonderful day, because I know there's a massive time difference from where I am to you, and you've got a wonderful day ahead of you.
Yes.
And thank you to the audience for tuning in. And I hope that everyone managed to take something away from this show that will help them feel more connected.
And by all means, you know, I for people who are serious, feel free to reach out and connect with me.
I will leave all your links on the YouTube station and on the Coach on Fire network. So if anybody does wish to get in touch with Robbie Lee, the details will be ready available for you.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.